what you just seen is the outside of the school where I work at. And now I will be answering Amy, Coralie, Tiffany, and Gabrielle's questions. So you were asking what do the schools look like in Vietnam. So you've seen the outside of the school. Now this is what the inside of the classroom looks like. So as you can see, there's no projector, there is no computers. It's a very simple classroom. Only a blackboard, a photo of Black Hole over there, the savior of Vietnam. The second question was, how many days per week do the students go to school? So it's the same as you guys. It's 5 days a week. And it's about 6 to 7 hours a day. So they start at 7 in the morning until 10:30 a.m. and from 1:30 p.m. to 3 or 4 in the afternoon. And then you were asking what is the name of my school. So I work for an English center called EUC, which stands for English Unlimited Center. And this school here is a public school called Phu Quoc. Alright, so now I will be answering Amy, Gabrielle, C and J, Tiffany, and Coralie's questions. So the first question is, how many people live in Hue? So in Hue there are over 350,000 people. What you have to know also is that Hue is a city as well as a province. So this city here is called Hue City because the province has the same name. Then you are asking, what is the money in Vietnam? So the money in Vietnam is called the dong. And there are many different bills. So there is the 1,000 dong. There is the 2,000 dong. There is the 5,000 dong. And there is the 10,000 dong. Then there is the 20,000 dong. There is a 50,000 dong that I don't have on me right now. There is a 100,000 dong. There is a 200,000 dong as well. And finally, there is the 500,000 dong. So 500,000 dong is about $30, 30 Canadian dollars. Then the next question with all the money in my hands is, what kind of music do they like to listen to? So what kind of music do Vietnamese people like to listen to? So Vietnamese people listen to a lot of K-pop, so Korean pop music, Vietnamese pop music, and a lot of also Western pop music like Justin Bieber and yeah, mostly pop music, I would say. And I will send a few links to my mom so that she can make you listen to a few songs that the Vietnamese listen to. Then you were asking, do they have computers? Yes, they do have computers. Many people have computers. It's actually sometimes a shame because in the public schools they don't have computers. They don't have computers maybe like you do in the classrooms, but they do have computers at home and they do use computers in coffee shops to do university work and stuff like that. Then, what is their first language? So the first language in Vietnam is obviously Vietnamese. In Vietnamese, it's called Tiếng Việt. And since there are many people that are from ethnic minorities in Vietnam, there are also many dialects in Vietnam. So there is Vietnamese and many other dialects in other regions of Vietnam. Then you were asking, what is the majority age? So when can you drive a car? When can you drink a beer? So it's the same as in Quebec. It's 18 years old. So you can drive a car, you can ride a motorbike once you're 18.
They still be playing basketball? William, my dick's hanging out.
Damn. Okay, so I had a question asking me, do you play a sport when you're in Vietnam? Well, actually, as you can see, I play basketball. So a few months ago it was the rainy season, so we didn't play for a long time. But now it's back on track because the sun is back and it's not raining anymore. So yes, I play a sport. So for the next question, I just finished playing basketball, so I'm sweaty. The next question was, how much does it cost? How much does it cost you to feed yourself in Vietnam? So right now we are at a street food kiosk, and here the food can range between 10,000 dong, which is about 50 cents, 50 Canadian cents, and 25,000 dong, which is about $1.20. So as you can see, it's very cheap and it's delicious. Here you can see behind me, there is the menu. So the menu is entirely in Vietnamese, so if you want to know what you're ordering, you need to learn a little bit of Vietnamese. So soy ga that you see up there is sticky rice. Then you have chao ga, which is porridge, chicken porridge. Then you have mien ga, which is transparent noodles with chicken in a soup. Then you have mien ga ko, which is the same thing but dry. Then you have mien ko, which are transparent, just the noodles, transparent and dry. Then you have mien ba, which is the same soup as mien ga but with beef instead of chicken. And here you have one of the most popular food in Hue. It's called bún bò. So you can see a picture over here. This is what people usually eat for breakfast and sometimes for dinner as well. So that's it for food. For the next question, you were asking me, did I make any friends in Vietnam? Well, I have a few friends with me right now. I will let them introduce themselves.
My name is Gun.
I'm from
Vietnam.
I'm 8.
I'm 8 years old.
Okay, good.
Hi, I'm Katie. I'm from Vietnam too, and I'm Kim Cương sister. Nice to meet you all.
Hi, I'm Marcus. I'm from Austria. I'm 23 years old, and do you think William has a really bad haircut, right?
Hi, I'm Odile. I'm from France, so I can speak like that without any problem. And I'm 25 years old, and I work in Vietnam.
See, told you I had friends. Alright guys, so for the next questions, you were asking me about means of transportation in Vietnam. And why are there so many motorbikes? Well, there are so many motorbikes because cars are very expensive in Vietnam. There is a special tax. It's probably a carbon tax on cars, and it's very expensive. Like a car that you would buy for $20,000 in Canada, here you have to pay $30,000 to $40,000 for it. So that's why most people ride motorbikes around, because it's cheaper and because the weather is never cold in Vietnam. So then you never need to be inside a car. You know, it never snows, it never gets under 0 degrees. Then you were asking me, what do I use? Well, I use a motorbike as well. So I've had this motorbike for about a year now. It's semi-automatic and it gets me around. You know what I mean? So you were asking me also, are you scared of getting an accident? So you can see behind me, there is a lot of traffic. So right now it's about 5:30. So people are getting off work and then they're going back home. So there's a lot of traffic. And in Vietnam, there's not many rules on the road. So people kind of, it's as if you gave a motorbike to 10-year-old kids and you didn't show them how to drive and you just let them drive around, you know. So most people don't know how to drive, so you have to be really careful when you drive around because people don't look and they don't know what they're doing. So yeah, sometimes I'm scared of getting an accident because people don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to drive. Then you were asking, is it difficult? No, not is it difficult. You were asking me, is it dangerous to walk in the streets? So when there's a lot of traffic like this, you don't really want to walk in the middle of the street. So yes, it can be dangerous to walk in the street. If your question was, is it dangerous to walk in the streets at night in Hue? Not really. Hue is a very safe city. Next question, what religion do they practice in Vietnam? Well, here we're in front of what's called a pagoda. A pagoda is for people who practice the Buddhist religion. So Buddhism or Buddhists are people that practice this religion. And in Vietnam there is also the folk religion, which is kind of their own religion where people pay tribute every day or so to the dead people in their family. So everybody that died, their ancestors, people burn incense for them, they give them food, and then once the food has been laying there for a few days, they get it back and then they eat it. Usually it's fruit and vegetables. Names, just dragon boats.
Thuyền rồng.
Huh?
Thuyền rồng
Thuyền rồng.
means dragon boat.
Can you say it again?
Thuyền rồng.
Thuyền.
Thuyền rồng.
Thuyền rồng. Okay. I started. Okay. So next question: what is the name of these boats? I'm not sure which boats you were talking about in your question, but the ones that you see most often in Hue are these boats. In Vietnamese, they're called Thuyền Rồng, which means dragon boat, and they're for tourists. So they're not really, they just bring tourists from the city to this pagoda here. So they don't really have, they go a little bit further down this river, and people, it's just to kind of see the landscape of Hue. Also, we can't see any of these boats right now, but some people have smaller boats. They're very short and very low, very near the water, and these boats are for fishermen. So people that go on the river to get fish, and then they go at the market and they sell the fish. And other than that, I don't think there are any other types of boats. So for the last questions, why did you decide to go to Vietnam, and do you like to live in Vietnam? Why? So I didn't really decide to go to Vietnam. I was in Australia before, I was in Indonesia, I was in Myanmar, I was in Laos. I made some money when I was in Australia working on farms, and at one point in my trip I didn't have much money, and since I studied to be an English teacher, I decided to give it a go in Vietnam, and I did a first contract for 5 months. And now I've signed a 1-year contract with my school, EUC. Then you were asking, do they have snow in Vietnam? So in most part of Vietnam, there's no snow at all. It's actually very warm, and instead of having snow, they have a lot of rain. But in Sapa, which is completely at the north of Vietnam, sometimes they do have snow, but it's pretty rare. You know, it's maybe once every 5 or 10 years. So the next question is, do you have an animal? No, I don't have an animal. There's a bunch of animals around the house. So in Vietnam, most of the houses don't have windows and they're not isolated. So I get geckos that kind of crawl on the walls, and they're pretty cute, so they don't worry me. And then there's a bunch of wild chickens because I live in the countryside, so there's a bunch of chickens that are running around the house and that are making noises. And there's a lot of dogs around that probably have owners, but most people don't like put their dogs on a leash, so then they're just walking around everywhere and you don't really know who they belong to. But personally, I don't have any pets because I don't know how long I'm going to stay in Vietnam, and if I have to leave in a year or in 6 months, where I wouldn't want to have a pet and then just abandon it, you know. And the last question is, do you play a musical instrument? Actually, I do, and I've met a few people in Hue that are also musicians, and for the last 5 months, I've been practicing with a friend that's from the United States. He comes from Georgia, and his name is Grayson. And recently, we found a drummer and another guitar player. So we're starting to have a pretty nice band. We had a few jams, and yeah, so it's very nice.